The white smoke billowing from the chimney watched around the world, conveying the message a new pope has been chosen.
And for the first time in history, it's an American who will lead the Catholic Church.
Thanks for joining us tonight. After 4 votes, the 133 cardinals from around the world selected a 69-year-old missionary born in Chicago.
Bradley Blackburn recaps this historic moment.
White smoke billowed from the Sistine Chapel, a signal the Cardinals had elected a new pope. The crowd in St. Peter's Square erupted in cheers, then waited in suspense for the announcement.
Habemus Papam.
Habemus Papam, we have a pope, and the world's first look at the new pontiff. Emerging from St. Peter's Basilica, Robert Prevost becomes the first American pope in history, taking the name Leo XIV. His first words, "Peace be with you all."
La pace sia con tutti voi.
Prevost is seen as a progressive on many social issues. Overall, he's viewed as a centrist. Like Pope Francis, Prevost has spent time embracing marginalized groups like the poor. He has dual citizenship between the U.S. and Peru, where he served for years. This is an extraordinary moment for American Catholics, seeing Leo XIV on the balcony, the first pope born in the United States, who is now spiritual leader for nearly 1.5 billion people.
He's the least American. I mean, that's, I think, what made him electable.
As crowds rushed into the square, a surge of emotion caught up with Tammy Harper.
It's just everything.
Once in a lifetime.
It is a once in a lifetime, and
For us to be here in this moment.
just so blessed and grateful.
For the crowds watching and waiting, it was a once-in-a-lifetime thrill. What are you hoping for in the man that comes out on that balcony?
Peace, kindness, humanity.
In the seconds before the white smoke, a baby bird tested its legs next to the chimney, a classic symbol of rebirth as the Catholic Church begins a new chapter. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, the Vatican.
This evening, we've got a few showers dotting the landscape across Arkansas, primarily in North Arkansas, but even here in Central Arkansas, a few showers are still dotting the landscape across parts of the region. These are just showers, no lightning showing up across the state. And here's a high-resolution radar, a little downpour moving through parts of Independence County. A few showers also moving through Cleburne County, Pope County, and there's also one lone downpour that's right over the metro, Mablevale. It's headed towards Geyer Springs, maybe will make its way into downtown Little Rock as well. Won't last very long, but you're going to get wet if you're under that shower. Any showers out there for the evening will dissipate, fade away shortly after sunset. We'll be left off with partly cloudy skies. Lows tonight dropping down into the upper 50s to lower 60s. And tomorrow we'll see highs into the mid 70s with still a chance of a pop-up shower storm. Going to the weekend, Mother's Day, I think there's going to be a better chance of showers and storms for parts of the state. More on that coming up.
Nathan, thank you. Happening tonight, help for homeowners still struggling to recover from the March 31st, 2023 tornado. Little Rock has $20 million from a federal grant to support long-term needs from that specific storm. Tonight at 6:30, the Department of Housing and Neighborhood Programs is hosting a virtual public hearing to talk about the funding. You can find the link on the City of Little Rock's website. An announcement by the U.S. Department of Education yesterday praised Arkansas for providing families with alternatives to what is called persistently unsafe schools.
Yeah, that left the state's education secretary answering a lot of questions today. TV11's Rebecca Brown sat down with Secretary Jacob Oliva to let him explain.
The secretary wanted to provide clarity on what this really means after the federal government issued guidance about the unsafe school choice option. But the big question many are asking, what makes a school safe or unsafe?
Every time I meet with school leaders and educators, I always like to say safety is our #1 priority.
On Wednesday, the U.S. Department of Education reinforced that message, saying parents should never have to worry about their child's safety at school. But here in Arkansas, the focus on school safety isn't new. It goes back to 2018 when then Governor Asa Hutchinson formed the Arkansas School Safety Commission in response to a deadly school shooting in Florida. That commission spent a year studying and compiling recommendations which still shape how safety is approached in schools today. Education Secretary Jacob Oliva says that work continues.
And they spent about a year writing a report that had some recommendations on how we can help make sure that our schools are safer, whether it's mitigating threats, whether it's supporting mental health situations, supporting teachers in the classroom and classroom management.
As part of that effort, a new report lists 40 schools as unsafe in the 2023-2024 school year. But Oliva says it's not that simple.
When you look at the factors that go into that, some of that's reported incidents, some of that may be crime, some of that may be other factors that come into play. So when you look at which schools met the criteria to be designated as safe, a lot of that's self-reported incidents that may have happened during a school day. But also, if there's an event that happens at a school, it's reported as a school incident.
So while the word unsafe can sound alarming, Oliva says it doesn't mean these schools are dangerous every day. And just one incident, even if minor, is enough for a school to land on that list.
Schools have rules, and sometimes students don't follow those rules. And when students don't follow rules, there's consequences.
To support safety efforts, lawmakers have allocated more than $50 million to school safety upgrades, much of it through the Arkansas Learns initiative.
So we've been able to work with districts in identifying ways to increase safety, and some of it starts with basics. Do we have perimeter fencing? Do we have single point of entrance? Do we have exterior doors where they all lock?
Oliva says that work is ongoing, and the goal is always to do better.
We're going to make sure our teachers are supported. Parents want to make sure that their schools are safe, which is why we're opening up pathways and options.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, THV 11 News.
Rebecca, thank you. Meanwhile, the Little Rock School District is racking up a substantial debt paying for kids to eat lunch. 13 schools right now are carrying sizable amounts of unpaid charges, and they say it's because they offer mostly free breakfast and lunch. The total debt has now gone over the $175,000 mark. But district officials share with THV 11 that the bigger picture is much more than the cost.
Most of our districts are suffering. Education is not free. It is a business. It costs money to educate children. Books and buses are free. Chromebooks are free, but meals are not.
So now the district is turning to local businesses for help paying off that debt. THV 11's Maya Ellison will go deeper into these details coming up tonight at 6.
Well, 2 historic homes in the Hillcrest neighborhood could soon be demolished to make way for a church parking lot. New tonight, THV 11's Carter Thweet tells us how this decision was made and why some aren't too happy about it.
People are parked down the hills, and it's tough on the elderly people, and we are very short of handicap parking.
Tuesday night, Gary Smith of the Holy Souls congregation got his wish, the Little Rock Board of Directors approving 6-3 the congregation's plan to build a new parking lot where 2 vacant houses and a green area currently sit.
I was very disappointed. I did not support the parking lot.
Kathy Webb is the city director over this area and was outvoted by her peers. She listened Tuesday night as, for over an hour, people for and against the proposal came and spoke.
Most of the people who spoke in favor of the parking lot do not live in this neighborhood. And so I appreciate their wanting to have more convenience for the hour or so a week that they're here. But my primary interest is the people who live in this neighborhood 24/7.
One of those people is Pittman Ware, president of the Hillcrest Residents Association. He says they're against the parking lot too, for reasons like property value, possible drainage issues, loss of green space, and more.
There's a finite amount of housing inside this neighborhood, so any loss is a loss of net loss of housing. It's also a loss to our historic character. That's something we really pride in this neighborhood, is that we preserve our historic housing.
The church has offered to try and help relocate one of the houses and says they'd take measures to curb any drainage problems. Webb says she's not convinced.
$10,000 to help move a house is a drop in the bucket for what something like that would cost. People move to Hillcrest because it's a walkable neighborhood, it's a friendly neighborhood, it has a certain character, and I think when we tear homes down, we chip away at that.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Now, we reached out to the church earlier today and weren't able to get an on-camera interview, but they did tell us this project will be done in phases to give time to adjust, and they hope to build some sort of new outdoor classroom along with the parking lot.
The Trump administration rolling out its new plan today to modernize the nation's aging air traffic control systems. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the plan includes replacing old equipment with new fiber-based systems and building 6 new air traffic control centers for the first time since the 1960s. It all comes amid multiple days of disruptions and staffing issues at Newark Airport outside New York City, triggered by an outage last Monday.
Those who use the airspace, they deserve this moment in time to actually deliver an air traffic control system that's going to keep them safe, that's not going to have them delayed for 4 hours or their flights canceled.
Secretary Duffy is asking for Congress to pay for the upgrades up front. The plan has an aggressive timeline, calling on everything to be finished in 3 to 4 years.
The United States and the United Kingdom announcing a new trade deal between the two countries. It's the first new deal for the Trump administration since the president enacted new global tariffs. The president's 10% baseline tariff remains in place, but the deal scales things back on products like cars and Canadian steel.
Always had a fair and balanced arrangement between our countries. This builds on that, hugely important for sectors like car manufacturing and for steel and aluminium and so many others.
In exchange for the partial tariff relief, the British are opening up their markets to more American goods, things like beef and ethanol.
Coming up, Arkansas is seeing lower gas prices than most of the country, and tonight we're verifying some myths about filling up that could save you even more.
Plus, what started as a way to stay busy during the pandemic has turned into a community staple. After the break, Hayden takes us to Malvern for this week's Eat It Up.